Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. Back on March the 11th, 2017, I posted Islam will eventually consume America as it is Europe. When I got it back from this viewer, it had 3,242 views, 208 thumbs up, and 22 thumbs down. I want to share a number of exchanges between myself and Khalid. Khalid is a Muslim, and he wrote, "I am a Muslim, Sunni. Don't see anything wrong in my religion. You people are listening to negative media, and they are doing a very good job scaring the hell out of you." I wrote back, "Negative media? Like in Riverside, California? Or like in Orlando, Florida? You mean that kind of negative media?" He wrote back, "Didn't understand the meaning or difference between Riverside, California, Orlando, Florida. Anyway, what I meant by negative media is, quote, people's, and a quote, own opinion, which is carried out through social media. Islam is not hard to learn. There is no hidden book or teaching. You have time? Grab the Quran and read. If you are lucky to speak Arabic, then you will be amazed and mesmerized on how it's written, which is totally majestic." I wrote back, "Khalid, thanks for educating me on the difference of taqiyya between Sunni and Shia. The problem that I see is that the two groups of Sunni and the Shia Muslims interpret the same book in totally different ways. The differences are not dealing with taqiyya. The differences are major throughout the Quran. The question then that needs to be asked is why? Why is their interpretation so vastly different? The answer is Iman's interpretation, which turns into teaching, which then turns into division. Can you explain why the Quran calls for the murder and the rape of the infidel?" Then Khalid wrote back, "Gabor Zollner, oh wow, you are diving into a big subject. I'll try my best to gather information regarding your question from books or reputable Sunni scholars' websites, which majority of Muslims refer to, and reply back with links. Please be specific on which surahs or verses you are referring to. Let's agree on one thing. I'll post whatever represents true Islam, whether you feel offended or not. I'll accept whatever you or your readers comment on." What's interesting is that he said what he just said, but then he becomes very defensive. Here he wrote, "You are referring to Khawarij, every word of them. This is what the media call them, ISIS. And sometimes they throw in the word radical Muslims. And some Muslim governments and Islamic clerics add Al-Qaeda, etc. Khawarij, that's Khawarij, in a nutshell, is a political movement that appeared in Islam first century, started to appear 15 years after Prophet Muhammad. You can say, and it's very true, ISIS is Khawarij. Islam prophet talked about Khawarij and described them very clearly, and he made it very clear for us to kill them as they appear. They have been appearing since then and contributed very heavily to the ugly face of Islam, as media shows it. Khawarij leaders are politically motivated, and they use Islam and the current crisis in the Middle East and other Islamic countries as a Trojan horse to achieve their goals, by emotionally affecting thousands and thousands of youngsters, by leading and persuading them to seek revenge for those who occupied their countries and blew up their dreams to live as humans." So, this brief answer can clear some of your questions out of the way. Please reply back with further questions, and I'm still able to answer from the top of my head without going to Islamic websites looking for answers. I wrote, "Why did Muhammad slaughter those in Medina that first took him in? It seems that throughout history, Muslims have infiltrated, then dominated their hosts. Muhammad realized that he could create a great following by offering people that had virtually nothing, a wonderful afterlife in paradise, just as long as they obey every word and his every command. The majority of Muslim countries have a very high concentrations of inbreeding, which causes over 2,000 different diseases. Mental retardation is but one of them. People that are not mentally stable are easily to manipulate and get them to do insane things like to become suicide bombers. Islam is not a religion. Islam is a theology, no different than Mormonism. They are in reality very similar, twisted ideology created by madmen. Muhammad offered wine and pearls, little boys, since women are not allowed to enter paradise, to those that follow his every word. Joseph Smith realized he could get many men to follow his twisted cult by offering them, as did Muhammad, many wives. Once again, both of these twisted cults are exactly that. Muslims that committed jihad believe they will go to paradise. Insane. Absolutely insane. He wrote, wow, it's hard to correct the structure of thoughts that has been built in an incorrect way. It's really a strange feeling for a Muslim to hear and answer such things that has been heavily twisted and manipulated. It is very wrong to judge something based on wrong assumptions. I'm living in the heart of Islam and can clearly see radicals, terrorists, liberals, atheists, Christians, and Jews. All of them attack Islam one way or another by blaming it or using it. Put yourself in my shoes and think about it for a minute. It's strange, sad, and sometimes laughable. Anyways, I always try very hard to not offend Islam to anyone, as I believe in trying to clear things for others, as I think not all people have a personal agenda, and they want to know the truth. From a Muslim, you are way, way too far from understanding Islam. And I might criticize you by using your same school of thought and judge your short views as a person who wants to ride the wave of Islam fear. To gather more subscribers, you are just the other side who is using Islam for a personal agenda. Good luck with that. How do you feel? I know you don't like what I said. Now, you know how I feel. Well, the thing is, I have responded back to him. See if I can find what I wrote. I don't know, folks. It's a never-ending battle. Hello again. That we're fighting. I don't know if I have the other response when I come across it. In essence, what I said to him is that we're all products of our environment. Now, if he wouldn't have been brought up and born in a Muslim country, or to Muslim parents, if he had been born in, let's say, Israel, and brought up in a Jewish family, he'd be the same person, but his thought process would be totally different. So we're molded by our surroundings. We're molded by what we're taught, what we've been preached to. And that's the fundamental problem. Things change, and people change. What Christians did centuries ago, they don't do now. You have to ask yourself a question. Would we be where we are if we wouldn't constantly invade their country? It's very easy for Muslims to get followers to defend their country. The question is, what would happen if we went there? Well, they'd kill each other. But they've been doing that for centuries. It's none of our business. What we should do is what I said we should do. We should bring our people back, protect our own countries, protect our own borders, protect our own way of life. Nothing's going to change. The Sunnis are going to slaughter the Shiites are going to slaughter the Sunnis. It goes on right in front of us. The problem is, because we're there, many of our young men and women get caught in the meat grinder, the political meat grinder created by our dysfunctional government. You sort of know what I think. You got a good idea what Khalid thinks. I'm actually very pleased that I'm able to communicate with him the way I am. I believe he's in Saudi Arabia. He is highly educated. He writes extremely well. And you never know. We might both have made a breakthrough. Thanks for listening. Folks, it's not going to get any better by itself. That's for sure. Khalid, thank you.